it's like a journey to go to the ancestral memory, and I believe in our spirit and in meditation, we have a capacity to do that. Perhaps that's where my inventing, comes from, because I have felt that from time to time when I think about, well, how does this work? What is the difference? That has enabled me to even have visualize. What most people don't visualize. And well, so anyway, I got a deeper understanding of agriculture a while ago. Agriculture as warfare, wheat and agricultural crops, all of them, what we call agriculture crops. There's now a diet they call the Paleolithic diet.
Yeah.
It says, don't eat anything from the civilization era. Let's think about pre-civilization. Let's think about what was the Stone Age diet. What did that diet? What would have that diet look like? And I'll tell you that there was no grain. Even now people say, well, there must have been some grain, or perhaps there was less grain, or what really is going on with that idea? Wasn't grain always part of our diet? And the point is that no, it definitely was not. Definitely, this is a modern invention. So, grain, and I know you're interested in the city, so there's a connection. That's why I thought this was actually interesting, and I appreciate the video, because, we've talked often about the city, but, I haven't shared with you these thoughts because, we haven't talked, more recently, in these connections, that I'm making between different things, because they do connect the dots, right, to understand more deeply. And of course, my background leads me into these areas, and I think that you would appreciate that I've sort of had some revelations in my thinking. And I thought I was already deep on these subjects, but no, I realized some time ago that I had been buying the ideas about agriculture myself for a long time. Don't forget, I went to agriculture college, and I've been around this sector all my life. I work with people. I have many colleagues, whatever. That's been my life's work, and I never really saw it for what it is. And it's true, the degree of cunning and manipulation and cruelty involved and damage done. I remember one thing when I was at agriculture college. This was mixed agriculture, livestock, grain, all of that. Of course, the typical Canadian Ontario farm, farming. And there was a day when we were out, at the college where I was learning, where I was studying, was also a research farm. It's actually, Ontario research. So there they do all kind of, developments, and they work the farm. They have working farms. So of course the big corporations are all over these farms. They put into practice the corporate farming. And, that's what they're funded and study and so on. But I didn't, of course, when I'm there, I didn't see it that way. But what I saw was this cruelty, to the animals. And one day in particular, when we were out to a couple of the different livestock operations on the farm, and it struck me, because I think we came from one of the pig farm, we went over and we passed by also a poultry operation, but our main focus of the day was on the veal calf operation. And they're calves, and yeah. Anyway, there was a calf that was dehorned. What do they call it? Neutered.
Yeah.
And ear notched, and I forget now, but all done at one time for teaching purposes, right? Which I don't know if they do that. Actually, perhaps they do, because maybe it's best to do all these injuries at one time. Anyway, that day, that night, I was like, wow, I've got to get out of here. This is really insane, and I'm going to be affected by this. I might begin to accept what's happening here. You know what I mean? Without it hurting me or without my questioning it. And I realized that none of these creatures, none of these animals were any more natural animals. And I said to myself, if I'm there around them, I will not be a natural person, because we can't live with other life in such an unnatural way and not be changed ourselves.
Okay.
Yep. So that was like the really beginning of my horror, of my reaction, being horrified by what I saw about agriculture. Because up to then, I just thought that's farming, that's the country. In fact, I went to the country to get out of the city and to learn about how to do it, how to live in the country. I was happy to be at the farm. I worked at the farm. It came gradually to begin to weigh upon me that there were so many things there that were going to be, that I had to really separate myself from. But anyway, I still thought that, growing grain and all that would be like natural. But now I understand that it's truly a way to starve people. Now, if you said to people that instituting agriculture was a systematic approach to confine millions upon millions, to actually grow larger populations of people while confining them and harming their health and their vitality to such an extent that they would be willing prisoners of this system.
Okay, Richard, I got you. I got your point.
That's where we're at. And this is a staggering idea, if it would be really true. But, man, I've been analyzing this, and looking at it from different sides, and I can't come to any other conclusion but that it is absolutely true.
Okay.
And yep.
Let's stop it at that point.
Okay.
I made an 8-minute recording of what you said because it was so profound. And I would like to have an evening lecture for my students here at the Global Villages Night University. And we will go into this subject deeper. What about that?
So I'm a radical. I'm a very disruptive person, right?
Yeah. But that's exactly what we are doing.
Not by intention.
Yep.
It's just it's what I can see is happening.
Okay.
The other part of that truth, though, too, is that when we stop focusing on grain, do you know how much acreage of grain there is right now? It's 5 billion hectares.
Yeah.
So, that's amazing as well, because that's an unnatural grass crop. It would never, ever happen like that. But of course, it's all led up to that in a process which these ideas have been unfolding.
Okay.
For me, I've been understanding them more deeply.
Okay. We go through all that and also look at the consequences.
Okay, sure. No, I'm up for that.
Okay, great.
Happy to do that.
I contact you soon, and
All right.
may I put this somewhere? This 8 minutes with your personal experience, maybe on YouTube or somewhere in the SolaRoof group.
You bet.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Yeah. No, it's a message I've begun to really want to share, and it is in the white paper. You know, closing
Okay.
the hunger gap.
So I will make it with a link to the white paper. Okay.
Okay. Super.
Talk to you soon.
Friends, thank you.
Thank you. Good night. Bye.
Good night. Good night.